Hey guys, welcome to another episode of On the Bank Angling. It's been a long time since I've recorded anything. I have tried, but this year so far has been a monumental blank for me. Um, just when things were starting to look like they were going to get a bit easier for me as well, obviously COVID-19 reared its ugly head, and the majority of us are either working all the time and then staying at home or staying at home. So obviously not had a lot of chance to do any fishing. Me and Chris had something a bit special planned. We were going to go and try and do a charity challenge. We'll release more details of that as and when it gets organised. But that was actually due to take place next weekend. Um, but obviously, we had like sort of 6 weeks. We were going to get started on like advertising and getting sponsorship and everything else, and that was just as COVID kicked off, and yeah, it hadn't happened yet. So obviously we're all sat indoors doing not much, and you've probably all been through your tackle boxes, sorted all your rigs out. By all means, tell us what you've been getting up to in your quarantine down in the comments, and yeah, I've been working. I'm a bin lorry mechanic, so I've just been fixing bin lorries. There's been lots of rubbish being made, and it's Friday night now. I've got the weekend free, and I thought I was on Facebook, and I looked at the Specialised Hookbaits webpage, and it came up with a little thing, sort of saying, "This is how you cure hookbaits. This is how we do it. You have a go, like, in quarantine." I thought that sounds real fun, actually. I did all right on the Specialised Hookbaits. Chris swears by them. He thinks they're absolutely brilliant. Um, so I thought, well, I might cure some hookbaits. But to do that, I've got to make some hookbaits. So I thought I'd make a little video this week, making some corkball pop-ups. Now, we did do a video years ago on boilie making. My knowledge has improved not at all since then. That was the only time I made any bait. I figured that I would rather just buy it from a shop, because of the time it took. I just thought this is a real lot of effort just to save like a fiver. So I actually didn't make any more bait after that. But I can see the attraction in some sort of specialised, sort of like your own hook baits, and that sounds real good fun, doesn't it? So I did have a bag. I keep switching the oven on while I'm leaning over, which is not good. I did have a bag of Urban Baits Nutcracker base mix in my van that's just been sat there doing not a lot. So I thought, why not try and make some corkball pop-ups? So I'm going to run you through kind of like how I'm going to make them, and step by step, and the next clip will show you the ingredients. Right guys, so I'm going to run you through the ingredients here that I'm going to be using for my corkball pop-ups. First off, I've got peanut butter powder. Now the reason I've gone for peanut butter powder is because it's actually basically peanut powder. As you can see the ingredients here, it says 80% organic peanuts. Then there's organic cane sugar, organic cocoa butter, sea salt, so it's all natural stuff. Yeah, I'm going to use that more for the powder coating next week, but I will probably put a bit in my base mix. I've got an egg to make. We're going to make a 1 egg mix here. We've got 2 types of gelatin. We've got cake making gelatin. I don't know if it's the same as the beef gelatin that I've got, but basically I thought I had all the bits last week. I didn't. My boss's mum gave me some cake making gelatin. Then I came home and realised that I couldn't do this video anyway, so it was an absolute waste of time. But I've got both. I've got some Nutcracker base mix. It's a sort of like a tiger nut based base mix. Been sat in the van for bloody ages, so I thought I'd better use some of it. Now I haven't got any liquid flavours, not the concentrates anyway, so I'm going to use some of the Nutcracker dip and some of the coconut milk, condensed coconut milk, mainline as syrup. Now I'm probably going to put double that in than you would the concentrate flavours, purely because it's weaker. I don't know, but that's what I'm going to do. I've got betaine powder. Now I don't know what it does really, but you always see it on the bait things. oh, without a betaine, so it must be good. But I've heard that it's some sort of like it helps fish digest their food as it does humans. I've done a little tiny bit of reading for about 3 minutes and then got very bored because it's very scientific and I really couldn't be bothered, but apparently it's very good. So, it says there, great for adding to your pellets, ground bait, paste and boilies. But only a little bit though. So we'll put some of that on the powder coating and also in the mix. Cork balls. Quite important to have cork balls if you're making cork ball pop-ups, because otherwise they're not even pop-ups, they're bottom baits. You can get Polaris base mix, do it with that instead if you want. But yeah, the cork balls are quite essential for making cork ball pop-ups. And finally, we've got some monosodium glutamate. Now that's in Chinese food and it's an appetite enhancer and it's very potent stuff. We're going to put a little bit in the base mix, but I'm going to use that for the powder coating mostly, and I'm hoping that will just give it a little bit of an extra kick. It's quite salty, it tastes quite nice. That's why you want to eat more and more Chinese. So hopefully it'll do the same with my my little hook baits. So without further ado, let's get on. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sieve the base mix. Now, the reason I'm sieving this base mix is because I've been watching a few videos on it, and if you sieve your base mix, it gets rid of all the coarse ingredients and makes it much easier to roll. So yeah, let's do it. Okay, so I'm sieving it, and I'm going to make it a nice fine mix and leave all the big bits in the sieve. Now, obviously, be careful here, boys. When you're at home, don't go using the missus's nice cooking stuff, or if you do, ask them first. My missus wasn't keen, so I had to use an old bake tub. I've got an old saucepan, and yeah, it's gonna, it'll do the job, so it doesn't really matter too much. But yeah, you might have better utensils than me. Depends on if you're allowed to use it. So yeah, so sieve it all out. So there you go, sieved all my mix. I'm going to add a small amount of this peanut meal, not a lot, just, I don't know, that much. Just because it makes it my own. We'll see what happens. Give that a bit of a mix up there though. Do you know what? I'm going to put a little bit more than that in. About that much. Right, I'm going to mix all that up and then we'll get on to the next stage. So now we're on to the next stage. Now, the next stage is to break your egg. Now I did hear, Carl and Alex said, apparently, actually hang on a minute, let's do this a different way. Can I flip this around while I'm recording? No, I can't. As I was saying, I saw a Carl and Alex one, and I think it was Alex. He said, apparently when you crack an egg, don't do it on the side, just hit it on the work surface like that, makes a little thing, and then in it goes. And actually, he was right. I'm 36 years old, and I learnt that this year. So, just wash my hands before egg. Obviously, I don't know why, just because it's not very nice on my hands at the moment. So, now I'm going to put my flavourings in. I'm going to put, says 5 millilitres in some of the other videos that I've been watching, but as this is like a syrupy thing, I'm going to put 10 millilitres of each one in with the egg, give it a good whisk, and I'll see you on the flip side. So I actually put 15 ml of each flavour in. I don't know if that's too much. We're going to find out. This is a bit of a sort of experiment, live experiment at the same time, and we'll see how it goes. Yeah. So anyway, so I've got my sieve mix. Now you want to add a little bit at a time. Just put a little bit in, and then stir it in with the egg. Keep on doing that until I show you the next bit, which is what it should look like when you stop mixing base mix in with the egg. So as you can see, it's almost like a dry dough at the moment, but that's because there's a little bit more base mix than there is here. I'm going to work the base mix in now until it's a nice firm pliable paste. Okay, so now I've made the paste. Now obviously you can put whatever colourings you want into it. I've not put any colourings into it. I want kind of natural coloured bait. The next thing to do, once it's kind of like, that's pliable, but it's relatively dry. So we're going to wrap it in cling film, and we're going to just stick it in the fridge for 20 minutes, half an hour, let it absorb all its oils and stuff, and let it all go through the bait. Then we're going to go from there. Okay, so obviously tidy up your mess as you go. Now while that's in the fridge doing its thing, I'm gonna just make myself a little bit of a powder coating for next week. So I'm just gonna get it prepared now because it saves me having a faff about next week. So I'm gonna use a spoonful of base mix, a spoonful of the chocolate peanut butter powder, a little bit more than that actually. Yes, I am now going to add 2 teaspoons of that. Apologies for the noise in the background. I'm going to put in half a teaspoon of monosodium glutamate, and then it said 2 to 4% in this, so quarter of a teaspoon of betaine. Next thing to do, now that all that's in that tub, is to put the lid on. Hang on a minute, I can't do this. I'm just going to put you down. So the paste is out of the fridge. It's nice and pliable. Got the cork balls onto the next stage. Going to roll some cork balls. So the paste is out of the fridge. It's nice and pliable. Got the cork balls onto the next stage. Going to roll some cork balls. Okay, let's take your cork ball, break off enough of the paste to cover the cork ball, squeeze it out to a nice flat piece, roll the paste around the cork ball. Okay, now this is going to make your hands quite sticky, so what you actually want to do is just get a little tiny bit of olive oil. Pour a little bit of olive oil on your hand and just rub it around yourself, because not only will you be able to pick the paste up and you'll be able to just apply it and you do what you need to do with it, but also it will just help the paste to stay nice and moist while you're rolling. Now I've done this a little bit wrong because I put a bit too much paste on. It's very much, for me this is a learning curve, so I'm rolling it nice, and as you can see after I finish rolling it, look at that, look, pucker. Let's get some more of those rolled up. Right, so for the last bit you've got to get your water proper boiling, like, you know, boiling, and then put your baits in 10 at a time. Leave them in the boiling water for around 2 minutes, then take them out, put them onto a piece of tissue paper to remove any excess water, and then put them either on a towel or on like a little griddle or something like that to dry off. So, well, that's boiling pretty bloody quick, to be fair. So I was going to get a can of cider while that came up to boil, but still going to have time for a can of cider. Wow, cider's going, water's turbid. Now I've got to put 10 baits in at a time. Now I would tip them in on a plate, but I can't hold the camera at the same time, So just going to do them by hand, the first 10. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Obviously if it's boiling too much, drop it down a little bit, the heat, and then you just got to stir them for 2 minutes. Just keep them moving around so that they get boiled nice and evenly. So guys, there we have it, 30 boiled baits. The first lot, I think these are the first lot, I boiled for a bit too long. As you can see, it's got these white bits on it. I think that's because I've overboiled them. Hopefully when they dry they'll be okay. But yeah, I've reduced my boiling time to a minute timed and then scoop them out of the boiling water. I think overboiling them doesn't really do them any favours, especially that thin skin around the cork. That's using the particular mix that I've just made anyway. You can actually see it happening. So I'm going to let them air dry, and there's 30 odd baits there, and next week we will be trying to cure them. So we'll see what quarantine fun we can have there. But yeah, that's there you go, that's it. So 30 hook baits. I'll have them drying all week now, and next week we will try and cure them with some of that powder that we mixed up earlier. So until next week, hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did, give us a little like. What do you reckon? Will they be any good as hook baits? Let us know down in the comments section. And I would say tight lines, but yeah, it's not going to happen unless you're playing dovetail games, is it? So yeah, I'm going to go and enjoy the cider. Take care guys.